Keep up the good work!
Thank you for all you've done for us during our stay, Klaus. Please have a safe journey, everyone. I apologize for not being more of service to you during your long-awaited return home, my lady. With all that happened yesterday, you hardly had any time to relax and enjoy a visit. On the contrary, I had ample time to enjoy soaking in the atmosphere of home. Thanks to that wonderful, nutritious dinner after we returned from the castle, so tired I was able to sleep well, too. Indeed, with all that happened yesterday, I feel surprisingly well-rested today. I'm just glad also that the children were all right. Sounds like they got a real earful from their families every minute. Just what was it what we witnessed yesterday? Still wondering that saved our skin last night could have come from. I only know what you read. Not a doubt in my mind it was St. Sandlot. It was to sense our peril confronting that strange spectre who chose to lend us a helping hand. Well, can't think of an explanation sounds any more plausible than that. Considering the situation, it's almost hard to believe it could have been anything else. It's certainly true. It feels like everything that happened was like some grand dream. I think of all of us, you perhaps have the least right to say that. Well, actually, one of the accounts of St. Sandlot's death places it right around this time of year. Though it's almost the anniversary, and last night it was full moon, it's small out and plausible that her spirit might manifest itself somewhere like the castle. I've heard that account of St. Sandlot's death before. Hold on a minute. Even if all that stuff of St. Sandlot is true, this doesn't explain all the weird things you did yesterday. Oh, but of course, my grandmother growing up with my parents didn't all that difficult to put your mind to it. Really? I suppose we'll take your word for it. I'm not sure I can say the same. I'll be sure to inform the Viscount if all that transpired here. In the meantime, you should be heading off to your next location you're ready to visit for your field study. Hope your journey is a safe and pleasant one. Take care, Klaus. Give my regards to Father. Same to you, my lady. I hope we shall all have the opportunity to meet again. I enjoy the opportunity to test my own swordsmanship against you in the future. I wish you all the best. So some time before the train comes so we can tell everyone goodbye as we make our way to the station. That's good. Let's be off then. And so we shall. Hey everyone, welcome back to more of Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time, we beat up a ghost with a sword. We mostly stabbed it. There was a little bit of magic that was involved, a little bit of punching, but we mostly stabbed it with a sword. Laura was the one that mainly did it. If we go and talk to Cindy, Lady Laura, you must made lunch for you, so please take it. 3 celestial pasta soup. Soup. Packing up for your lady friends too. What about us? You did myself an admirable performance yesterday, I assume. But don't forget, won't forgive if you get too close to Lady Laura. Lest you blithely forget. Take these as a helpful reminder. And you get dry up. I don't think I need the wind to clue me into what they're implying. This is petulant guy will be annoying right at the very end. So, some new foodstuffs. There was also one more thing that we need to do. We actually need to head into the Viscount's mansion, because there's something that we need to pick up. Out on the second floor, we have Prologue. Yes, please take this book with you for your journey. Apparently quite the interesting read, so I'm hoping it'll help the long trade pass more quickly. We get another chapter of Red Moon Rose. However, that aside, that is actually all that we have to deal with now for the Graham, so we're heading up to Garellia Fortress, which the name might sound a little bit familiar. Perhaps. If you were paying attention, 113 episodes, we're heading towards the Prologue, baby. And let's just wait in the station. You just want to make me some snacks? Buy your own food. At least other I see. I can see the castle for a second there. Hey, it's gone again. The force is quite dense around here. Still, we saw a lot of weird things in that castle. Just one thing after another from the moment we walked through the door. What are you looking at me for? Never mind. It's pretty great. You have this much fun on all your field studies? This is a little longer. These 2 days went by so quickly. Well, the field study isn't over. We're on our way to our next location, so don't relax just yet. Looks like I must say farewell to the ground once again for the time being. I wasn't expecting to, but I can't help feel a little homesick already. I understand why. It's a really welcoming place. I didn't ever get the sense that social classes were keeping people apart. Seems like a place that we nobles could learn much from. I'd definitely like to visit again in the future. It'd be great to bring Fee and the others next time too. You're more than welcome to the ground anytime. I can only hope I'll continue to learn and grow between now and when I next return. We have changed trains at Briarheart Station. The road that quits the main line north, heading toward Celtic. Let's go over our schedule again. Currently en route to Celtic, where we're well in view with Group B. Now we'll take the transcontinental road to the Garellia fortress on the Empire's eastern border. The Garellia fortress is one of the Imperial Army's largest strongholds. It's sometimes referred to as the wall that protects the nation from throughout the Calvar Republic, for it's ludicrously gigantic. It's an icon of military access. It also houses 2 railway guns and has a military exercise ground on the premises. Weren't those the weapons that Gwyn said he regretted constructing? Yeah. There are those 2 massive orbital cannons pointed toward the east at Calvard. Or more specifically, they're aimed at the buffer zone between us and them, Crossbell State. They are pretty crazy, yeah. You look at a mountain of iron. I was pretty overwhelmed when I first saw them. Wait, you've actually seen the railway guns in person? Yeah. Gramps took Claire, Lecter, and me to see them this one time. These are the mightiest weapons wrought by the hands of man since the Great Collapse. I want you to consider what it means that such weapons have been placed here. Something like that, anyways. To consider what it means? He has a flair for the dramatic, I'll give him that. Come to think of it, today's the day, isn't it? The day that the Chancellor is scheduled to depart for Crossbow with Prince Oliver. There's the trade conference kind of snuck up on us, huh? I think it's where Lecter's going, too. I want to go to Crossbow. There's this really famous theater group there, and they have a huge theme park, right? I've heard it, though. You probably know more about it than I do. Only President Toa's going there as part of the entourage to further her studies. Really, she never fails to impress. She's been getting job offers from a bunch of different companies ready to hire her right after graduation. You know, she does merit the high esteem people lavish on her. She's the pride of the academy. All passengers just marking here together, please exit the platform via the bridge. I repeat, do not approach the rope barriers on platform 1. Passengers wishing to travel on the Transcontinental Railroad, please wait on platform 2. What's going on here? The security feels kind of ominous. There's the railway military police guarding the opposite platform. I wonder if...
Well, isn't this quite the coincidence?
Captain Claire!
It's Claire! Did you come to see me?
Just a coincidence, I'm afraid. Eisengraf will be passing through here soon, so this station's operating under heightened security.
Oh, right!
Still, I'm happy to see you again. It's been, what, 2 months since I last saw you?
Anyway, good day, everyone. Let me thank you again for all your help during the recent crisis in Heimdall. Don't worry about it. We did our duty as citizens of the Empire. More importantly, what's the meaning of all this extra security? What's this Eisengraph you mentioned? It's an Iron Count, right? You'll see what I mean soon enough. The person's question will momentarily be passing by platform 1. The train will be passing through at a high speed, so travelers on the platform are advised to exercise caution. Special express train. Couldn't be. Right on time. There's Toa. There's Prince Oliver. That was the Eisengraph. One thing about it, I've heard rumors of a special Crimson train. This is reserved for use by members of the Imperial government. I've been on board, it's really fast. Pretty fancy inside, too. Eisengraph, for the Iron Count is in the Carmen parlance, so title in honor of Chancellor Osborne himself. I do hear him called the Blood and Iron Chancellor all the time, so I can understand the Iron part. Isn't the Chancellor a Commoner by birth? Yes, indeed. However, he was granted the title of Count by His Majesty when he was made Chancellor 11 years ago. Supposedly, that's what led to the train being given its name shortly thereafter. I see. I doubt he, of all people, sees any worth in titles or peerage. Ian? Yeah? Something bothering you. Attention seems elsewhere. Still feeling tired after yesterday? Nah, not really. Time to catch a glance of Toa and Prince Oliver on the train as it passed by. Wow, I'm surprised you can even make them out! Hawk's Eye to be able to see them when the Eisengraph whooshed by so quickly. It's probably just coincidence. This glance though, is clearly in detail. What's that just now? Well, as long as you're not feeling unwell. We would like to thank all passengers for the cooperation with today's security measures. Transcontinental Railway serves bound across, while now we're arriving on platform 2. Here it comes. Looks like we didn't have to wait long after all. Hey, there they are. Reen, over here. Well, we haven't got all day. Save you some seats. Well, if you'll excuse us, Captain. See you later, Claire. Of course. Have a safe trip, everyone. Whoa, who's that classy-looking babe? I should have just stayed on the train.
We've received word from Squad 8. No unusual moves have been detected near the Twin Dragons Bridge.
We've also received word from Squad 21. They report all high-speed armored cars are in position. Understood. We're going to wait until the Eisengraph is finished passing through. Troops across Bell State have all squads switched to Phase D. Yes, ma'am!
Are you sure the Imperial Liberation Front will show themselves?
They will. I'm certain of it.
See, it sounds like Group A had quite an eventful couple of days, too. Yeah, though I find it kind of hard you couldn't see the ghost of Mayhem Sandlot. It's ridiculous. Make sure you weren't hallucinating or something. Think whatever you like. I totally saw her, I swear! Well, ghost or not, there was definitely someone there beside us. Well, anyway, that's enough about ghosts and spirits for the time being. I'm concerned about the affairs of the living, like we're told on the radio late last night. It's like Duke Kyan's up to something too, and he's not someone can afford to take lightly. We didn't run into anything like that in the dry special economics zone. Well, I guess that makes sense, seeing it's from the direct control of the Imperial government, not the noble. I seem to recall it was annexed 8 years ago. Is that right? Yeah, the Empire stitched on nice and neat, without much opposition. Now it's prospering as a special economics zone on the coast. Seems like a pretty lively place. The revenue generated from taxes there goes directly to the Imperial government's coffers, instead of the pockets of the nobility. It's hardly a mystery why reformists think so highly of it. Well, that aside, I'm not concerned about the upcoming trade conference with Crossbell. Same goes for the Imperial Liberation Front. Awfully quiet since that show they put on last month. Now that you mention it, it does seem rather suspicious. Does that relate somehow to why we're going to Garellia Fortress? Well, it's not the main reason, but it's not entirely unrelated. I'll let you look forward to finding out all about it when you get to the fortress itself. Anyway, how many of you passed through Garellia Fortress by train before? Let's see. Here's us, huh? Can't wait to see everyone's first reaction. True. Why's that? Well, I've seen photographs at least. Can't really capture how ridiculous it is. Yep, especially this Macho gateway to the Empire. It seems like it's trying way too hard. What's that supposed to mean? Yeah, with the Empire in one of the largest military bases in the country. I look forward to the chance to see it in person then. Asia Road wishes to thank all passengers for their patronage. Next stop is Garellia Fortress. Garellia Fortress. The train will stop for 5 minutes. Please be aware that only authorized personnel may disembark at this station. Be advised that all mobile photography is strictly prohibited within the fortress and is punishable by Imperial law. Any attempt at unauthorized recording may result in the confiscation of your equipment or detention by the authorities. It was kind of pretty severe for a train announcement. Well, we are passing through a military facility. I don't think they're being unreasonable. I really think that's the issue here. I'm not sure that having that be one of the first things foreign visitors here gives a very good impression of the country. Oh, we're finally here. Whose name is that? Scale is just... This is Garellia Fortress? This entire place is built from iron and concrete? How much money has the army dumped into building all of this? Yeah, that was about as entertaining as I hoped. Not that I'm surprised. I thought the same thing when I first saw it. The crossbow slide, all I can see is a cliff, though. Yeah, those two railway guns still poke out through it. Hey, instructor, what did you bring us out here to show us? What else? I'm here so you can see the true essence of what makes an army. It comprises the military strength that forms its foundation. And what other place in the Empire has that on display as clearly as here?
say. Engineers and traders, mostly. You can see a lot of them around here. Keeping a fortress this size up and running is a full-time job for more than just the military's people. So it seems. Feels like its own town here. Inside this fortress is more or less a straight shot to Crossbow City, right? It's such a bustling center of trade is so close to a massive military facility like this. Yeah, Crossbow's only about 30 minutes away by train. From the top of the fortress, you can see the skyscraper where the trade conference is going to take place.
I see you've arrived.
Oh,
Instructor Neidhart!
Good morning, Major Neidhart. Instructor Valestein of Thor's Military Academy, homeroom teacher for Class 7, reporting the arrival of myself and all students in my care.
Acknowledging your arrival at 11:30 hours. Welcome to Garellia Fortress. In addition to my teaching duties at the Academy, I hold the rank of Major in the Imperial Army's 4th Armored Division. I'll be acting as your guide, as well as your instructor for special lectures during your time here at the fortress. Now, if you'll follow me.
Including today, you have 2 days remaining in this month's field study. We won't be assigning you any tasks during that time. Instead, you'll be participating in a series of special lectures and a field trip. A field trip? Here? So, what exactly does that entail, Instructor? In 1400 hours today, a joint military exercise will be taking place at Garellia's Proving Grounds. The 4th and 5th Armored Divisions will both be participating, and you will be observing it. Gonna watch a military exercise? The 4th Armored Division, huh? 4th Armored Division is led by none other than Elliot's dad, Lieutenant General Olaf Craig. My own sounds one of the strongest armed divisions of the Imperial Army. And did you know that our friend the Major here is their most promising young member? It's true. Moving on, the study will not only be observing this exercise, or you'll only be observing this exercise, not actually participating. I imagine that has some of you feeling rather relieved, doesn't it? Just like a pretty easy assignment, after all. We'll see how many of you feel the same after experiencing it for yourself. That's all from me. It's only 1,500 hours. Lunch has been prepared for you in the mess hall. Advise you well to eat. Field trip isn't something you should be undertaken on an empty stomach. So, this food, salty corned beef, and I think I'm getting a hint of peas from the soup. Uses bread as a lethal projectile. Do you think it wouldn't hurt to have a few more herbs? Or flavors in general? Unless Eva will be generous. There are plenty of rumors about the food they serve in the Imperial Army, but I would have guessed they would all be true. I don't think the food they served at mess hall instead of gave was all that bad, though. I don't think it would kill them to serve something a little more appetizing. This is the exact thing they served when I came here with my class last year. I was from the same batch, too, by the look of it. It really brings back memories. It was the first time my dad brought me to eat here, too. I guess you think it's that bad. It brings back memories for me, too. There's some cheese and an apple. Food served in the army makes use of common ingredients that are easy to preserve and store. The ingredients used to make all the food on your trays can easily be stockpiled in large quantities. Even if a war to break out, a meal like this could still be served without any trouble. Yeah, so that explains it. See, so the army serves simple food all the time to avoid the decrease in morale from wartime rationing. Well, not all the time. However, one can think of this food as a philosophical statement from the concept of a strong army, in the sense that it suggests that soldiers should live and work each day as though a war effort depends on them. Every day? So they should be just as tense during times of peace as during times of war. It's a bit too much my own manner idealism for my taste, but it's worth being aware of. And to throw a different perspective in the mix here, the food the provincial army serves here is actually pretty good. Going out there can't help wonder how they'd go if a natural war to break out. Well, it's not like serving food means you have a crappy army. Our neighbor to the Barrel serves a pretty tasty food in their army. Barrel's army is fairly elite, only because the threat of being neighbors to the Empire keeps them tense. I feel a little conflicted hearing you say that.
Well, these things are all about finding a good balance. Variety's the spice of life, you know. And nothing but dull, bland food all the time. Well, you know what they say. You are what you eat. I could do with fewer of your pithy remarks in my diet, Instructor Valentine. Anyway, as you heard, there's going to be a military exercise at the Proving Ground at 2 in the afternoon today. It's 12:30 right now, so you have an hour to do whatever you like. They'll make an announcement half an hour before, so be sure to listen for it and do whatever it tells you. Understood. We say whenever we like. Does that mean we can tour the fortress? Of course, you're welcome to run around as long as you don't poke your nose into restricted areas. So go ahead and explore. There's plenty worth seeing here, like the command center. You're feeling a little tired from your field study so far. You're welcome to go rest in your rooms. You're ashamed to waste such a valuable opportunity. Or should at least get a general overview of the fortress. And as shall we in the next part. So, until then, see you guys later.